Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Chicago here. We got October the 3rd, 2025 here. We're going to head to work here. Start at Clark and Fullerton here, Lincoln Park, and then we're going to head down to Loop of Chicago, generally. Heading to work here Friday. Hey, we're celebrating the Cubs beating the Padres there last night. We were up there, posted that footage, and I'll head down Cleveland Street, and we'll probably walk down by the old Cabrini Green there, sneak in the backside of River North there. So hey, let me turn on the comments here. Let's see. Grace, how you doing there? T-Line Tea Time. Good morning. Jessica Ward, good morning. Hey, Friday. Weather looks pretty nice. We're probably in the upper 60s. It's actually going to get to the low 80s today, so not too bad. Beginning of October. So hey, we'll be on the lookout for Halloween decorations and any other interesting stuff we stumble upon. But hey, crickets are out. There's this new construction here where the Cynical used to be. So there's still this housing still being built. It's amazing. We notice it. Other areas, other neighborhoods too. New construction still going on. Twin sisters here, looking nice. Got the front yards there. Yeah, usually these houses usually decorate for Halloween. I expect a lot of Halloween decorations to go up this weekend because the weather's going to be pretty summer-like. Hey, we'll roll with it. Delios, how you doing there? Hey, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, thanks for tuning in last night. I know I should have known. I was streaming the broadcast there, and I was trying to time my arrival to Wrigley Field to be closer to the end of the game, but it's always, we got there in the 6th, so I was walking around the stadium. I lost my signal briefly after that late home run in the 8th inning, and so then I resorted to just like filming the big screen there, and then eventually the algorithm realizes that I'm filming a live broadcast of MLB, any counts or descriptions of the game, just like the NFL says. And I was trying to just film like a little bit and then walk away and come back and film, but of course the action gets interesting, and so I filmed it too long, and then I lost it. So that's why I filmed after the game, and then I was able to get a stream back, but I had to walk out of the Wrigleyville area to get a stream. It was cell phone coverage was poor due to the crowds. Everybody taking their selfie in front of the marquee there, just like we were doing here. We'll cross in here at Belden. Hey, Wes, how you doing there? Happy Friday. T-Line Tea Time. Grace, yeah. Charles, good morning. How you doing? Yeah. Let's see what else is going on there. So, if you just joined, we're in Chicago. We're heading down Cleveland Street. We're south of Fullerton. We're heading towards, was that Webster? No, that was Belden. Yeah, United States of America, planet Earth. How you doing there, Margie? Yeah, good morning. So Chicago, Illinois. We're one of the cities that our own president is going to use the military to attack us. So I hate to sound so flippant about it. Imagine, you're trying to explain, like I'm trying to explain to my friends that live outside the United States. They're like, why does your president say he's going to use the military to attack American cities and use American citizens as a testing ground for militarize? We're going to occupy our own country. I mean, just think about that. Just so we're at war. Who are we at war against? Ourselves. I think, look at this. So Russia and China and Iran, they love this. North Korea loves this. Here's, hey, we lost a tree here. So this is Grant Street and Cleveland here. Lincoln Park, Chicago here. Look at that. Hey, you got a great view. Thanks, Neilio. Thanks for watching from Ireland there. I think, yeah, you know, American baseball internationally. I know, you know, there's like Japan plays baseball, South Korea. I think Cuba and a lot of Latin American countries play baseball. But outside of that, outside of Canada and the United States, baseball, this is what we call soccer in America, which is football for the rest of the world, is the most popular sport in most countries. You know, the British Empire still has the cricket, people that play cricket like India, Pakistan, and, you know, the British, Australia, South Africa. I guess Canada play cricket. I don't know. I know England does. But, yeah, thanks for watching some American baseball there. Ernesto, how you doing there? Margie R. Swisher Sweet. This looks like Phoenix. I could see how we look like Omaha, Chicago, because, you know, Omaha is part of the Midwest, Chicago's part of the Midwest. Omaha has more hills than Chicago. Just like Kansas City has more hills than Chicago. Isn't that amazing? But Phoenix, I don't know. I don't think anybody from Phoenix would confuse Chicago for Phoenix. Phoenix doesn't have deciduous trees like this. I've been to Phoenix. There's a lot of palm trees, a lot of irrigated desert plants. But hey, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah. We're on Cleveland Street here. Lincoln Park, Chicago is the name of the neighborhood. There's a residential historic district. Well, I think we walked out of the Mid-North Historic District. Now we might still be at the edge of it here. Yeah, it goes down to Lincoln here, I think. You see why I like walking through here on my way to work here, because I don't have a car. It's part of the whole shtick here. One of the few areas I can actually expensively live and work and walk to work. You could do it in other cities too. You just have to figure out where the grocery stores are. Look at the ghosts there. Ghosts with the most. Look at the purple spiders here. Hey, there's a skeleton. So hey, we're starting to see Halloween decorations go up. It's always a fun time of the year. We saw those spooky skeletons on State Street. Thanks again to Grim Evil for letting me know. I would have stumbled upon them, I'm sure, but I don't know if they did that last year or not. They're gonna have some other festivities coming up, some parades and stuff on State Street that have something to do with Halloween, I think. So we'll look into that. I'll check today to see what's happening this weekend, if there's anything we want to cruise by. Look here, they got some iridescent flamingo skeletons. Hey, look at all the skulls. It's a nice Porsche display there. Yeah, Halloween. You got the crow. Yeah. Oh, see, look, you gotta watch out for spider webs. I'll walk into a real spider. Yeah, look at these nice single-family residential houses here, Cleveland Street. That round window. Nice townhomes here, row houses. Yeah, Bill, I appreciate it. I know I get requests all the time to go to different areas of the city, Portage Park, Jefferson Park. The closest I get to Jefferson Park usually is like on the Blue Line going to O'Hare. I don't usually go out that way. I appreciate you, you know, thinking enough of me to want to cover those areas. I would like to. As you imagine, I'm pretty busy with my 40-hour salary job there as an architecture engineering firm, and I usually end up working. Well, some weeks are busier than others. You know how it is, and I spend about, I don't know, 30 hours a week commuting, and most of it's just in this area where I'm walking now. And thanks for understanding that. If I during my normal course of business or shopping, I would end up in Portage Park or Jefferson Park. I would go there, but I'm a lazy live streamer. I'm not going to go out of my way just to cover an area that somebody else that lives there. There's so many other live streamers and people producing content throughout the city and the suburbs. Hopefully though somebody else can cover those areas of the city. Same with, I know I get requests all the time to go to the south and west side of Chicago. When I first started doing this 3 years ago, I made a really college effort to go to areas of the city that I don't usually go to, like the south and west sides, in my normal course of business, to represent those areas, because I know these areas that I walk through here don't represent the whole city of Chicago, don't even represent America. And it's a very wealthy, gentrified, expensive area of the city. And I realize that, and you can blame me, stereotype me, get mad at me for living in a very expensive rent district, you know. But I'm a lazy live streamer. Most I do is this is what I would be doing if I wasn't live streaming. I'd be commuting to work. I would be riding a bike or walking or taking the train, taking a bus to get to work. And you know, I'm sure you, unless you work from home, you travel on your commute to some place. And if somebody gives you an errand to go to 30 miles out of your way or 10 miles out of your way, and you don't have a car, you can take transit, but it's still spending time. And I'm not getting paid by, I don't expect to be paid by you. I don't expect to be paid by YouTube or TikTok or anybody to do this. This is just my little window to my world. So I know. Another thing I've learned from live streaming for almost 3 years here on these platforms is no matter where you go, no matter what you film, someone will ask you to film something else. And even if it's the most interesting thing in the world, something you know that's going to go viral, someone will be like, leave wherever you're at and go to do what I want to do. And that's the battle of politics, where we all have different interests in different areas of the city that we care about. And where I'm at is not where you're interested in. I get it. So I can't solve this problem. Limitations of I can be one place at one time, and I'm not in the business of covering every single place of 100 suburbs, 77 neighborhoods. You know, I would run myself ragged just trying to be a full-time job. 77 Flavors of Chicago does a much better job of covering. That's what his name 77 Flavors is, the 77 neighborhoods of Chicago. You can watch Malik the firefighter. You can watch, he covers the south side wonderfully. And, you know, I'd be willing to lose half of my attention for people to watch his content, because, you know. I remember one time I covered, like Ernie and I went to, I'm missing all the comments here. There's some Halloween decorations. Ernie and I went to the Fiesta del Sol, and Ernie covered it both days in this summer, earlier this summer. We took a fire engine ride into Bridgeport, and someone was bashing the Chicago Fire Department. I said, why don't you say that to Malik the firefighter? And then radio silence, you know. Hey, so here we saw, there's a skeleton there. That's why I crossed over here. Yeah, we got some skeletons sitting on the porch there. Got the stacked heads. Yeah, so this is still Cleveland Street, 1940. Yeah, there's this house always, well, these houses right here usually decorate. This one usually throws some light on their facade there. Preston, how you doing there? Everybody's chill. Nobody's freaking out. Don't tell me to chill in the comments. You chill out. Here's the, this is who I am. You can change the channel if I'm freaking you out here. Here's, hey, look at the spider webs. No, I'm just tired of living in a country that's every single thing is a political battle every single day, no matter what. Even filming Halloween decorations, this will turn into a political battle where someone will bash me for filming too many Halloween decorations. So that's, I expect that. I'm used to it. I'll just let it go. We should even acknowledge it. Look, they got the whole family here. So here, so let's do the whole thing. Maybe we can cut this out. So here, yeah, let's start with the spider web here, and we can get this one here. So I'll get to work when I get to work. So hey, welcome to Chicago here. We're on Cleveland Street here, walking to work on a Friday after the big Cubs win there last night over the Padres. And here's, yeah, this beautiful Italianate historic house here. And hey, they got the family, got the whole family, got the dogs sitting on the bench there. Yeah, Halloween decorations. The next door neighbor here, you got the ghouls on the, look, they got the nice hat on there. Yeah, you get the little pumpkin head witches. Yeah, Halloween decorations. So hey, look at the little werewolf there. Yeah, put the spider web on the fence here. So hey, we got October the 3rd, 2025, Friday. So we're seeing Halloween decorations going up here on my walk to work here. Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah. Good morning. Yeah, thanks for tuning in here. First time. Hey, thanks. It's a hello fan name there. So hey, here's the squirrel. We filmed the squirrels. We film Halloween fall decorations. We film historic housing. Just stuff on my way to work here. And please excuse me if I editorialize too much. I read way much into comments because I have a brain. I'm cursed with a brain that thinks in 20 scenarios from every possible interaction. And my brain wasn't evolved adequately for age of social media here. Here's look at the, hey, we got some orange lights there. Look at the spiders. You get the spiders crawling up here. Yeah. And hey, you get the skull and crossbones here. The boneyard. Yeah, we'll probably just stick on Cleveland. A lot of times we cut over. We'll just stick on Cleveland. What time we got here? 6:54 in the AM here, Chicago, Illinois. We got upper 60s. It's going to get to the low 80s today. It's going to feel like summer. We're going to enjoy it. And lunchtime, we'll see what's happening in the loop there. Happy Friday, Prince. Yeah. Southern California, Cindy, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, Lambie T, thanks for being on. Yeah, D. Michael was making the jokes last night. It was good. Is it safe to walk at night? You know, I get that question all the time about safety. I'm not trying to discount it. This is the big bad city. Bad things can happen anywhere, even good neighborhoods like this, but usually not. And, you know, all I can tell you from my experience, I've been living in the city for 26 years. Bad things happen to good people. Good things happen to bad people. Crime is bad in this city. Crime was bad in this city when I moved here in 1999. Crime is still bad. Crime will be bad in this city 50 years from now, no matter who's the mayor. It's just something about American cities and the socioeconomic divide. And, you know, would you rather have lived in Chicago in the 1870s where a train ran over a person a day and they didn't stop the train even if it ran over a little kid or a cow because you couldn't stop progress? People died in stockyards. Most people's jobs were really dangerous. People didn't live long lives. Crime was really bad in the 1920s during Prohibition, and that was partly due to the government's own policies. This is that caused a vice, economy, because it created a huge black market for something they made illegal that a lot of people still wanted to have. And it just gave more power to the criminal element to organize crime. Crime was bad in the 1930s during the Great Depression because people were poor and desperate. Crime was bad in the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s. That's most people remember. Certain neighborhoods were controlled by gangs and public housing, and the white flight to the suburbs left impoverished people trapped in the city. And that's the history of a lot of American cities, not just Chicago. And so crime's bad now, but it was worse more recently in 2020 to 2022. It's a little better this year. It's still not great. If you don't feel safe in Chicago, or if you don't feel safe in New York City, you probably won't feel safe in Chicago. Big cities are, they can be stressful places. But, you're asking somebody that's lived here for 26 years, I enjoy living in the city. I accept that this is a trade-off of living in a city. But even if I lived in the country, you know, I could still die in a car wreck. You know, all these safe, to me, you're not safe anywhere. You're not even safe in your own home. But you're safer. But sometimes nothing comes without risk. Would the people that, you know, the colonizers that settled and pushed the frontier, would they have made it there? You know, some of those are my ancestors on the leading frontier, you know, of this country, coming across oceans, you know, and even recently with the migrants that we're kicking out now, the same thing. They had to make a desperate journey, and we're quickly realizing the limits of American generosity. And it seems like America's very generous to billionaires and people that run corporations that are already wealthy, and they're less generous to federal workers that need paychecks or people that rely on government programs. So I'm very much at a loss of what Americans' priorities are now, because I think it varies according to what side of the political spectrum you're on. Of course. So does that answer your question? Probably not. Big block. Yeah, I'm on the north side. We were up at the Wrigley Field there last night there. So I live in Lincoln Park. I'm walking to work. Yeah. And that's why I don't have as much content of the south and west side as everybody probably would like, because I'm always walking to work from where I live to where I work. Taco jalapeno salsa, thanks for tuning in there. Grace, how you doing there? Bright Lights, big city. Yeah, I'll look at that 87 movie. Yeah, I know he made that movie, The Secret of My Success, where he got this corporate job. I don't know if that's the one you're thinking of. But, yeah, you know, even like Perfect Strangers. You know, there's an American sitcom called Perfect Strangers that was set in Chicago in the 80s. Balki Bartokomous, he came from Greece. He was a Greek immigrant. It was a comedy about his experience trying to navigate America as an immigrant, with his cousin Larry, who was from Wisconsin, who moved from a smaller town in Wisconsin to Chicago, the big city. And that's what the whole thing was about. So you can think of me as like I'm a Larry Appleton that moved from Indiana to Chicago. I think I'm hot stuff because I live in a big Midwestern city. But here's St. Michael's. They got the door open. And again, I'm not doing this to promote one religion over the other. The door's open. I'm walking past here. It's such a beautiful church. We do historic architecture, and this is certainly an historic church. The first iteration survived the Great Chicago Fire and then largely destroyed. They rebuilt it in the 1870s. This is St. Michael's Catholic Church. And Old Town neighborhood area. Old Town Triangle Historic District is on the edge. But the outside air temperature is the same as the inside. They just keep the doors open there when it's like that. Yeah, the door's open. I've got a lot of footage of St. Michael's. We do other churches too. Again, I'm pretty much a secular person. I don't regularly go to church. Most of my relatives do go to church. I grew up in a very conservative, religious, fundamentalist, like evangelical Christian background that I kind of rejected, and that's part of me moving to the city here too. Oh, I'm the prodigal son. I moved to the evil sin city here. You know, it's like I'm a Sodom and Gomorrah here, and some people do relate, like certainly Las Vegas, but even Chicago is like a Sodom and Gomorrah city. You know, as America has its conservatism, but. Yeah, because half of my family, my father's side's Catholic, I feel comfortable walking into Catholic churches because I've been going to Catholic weddings, Catholic funerals, Catholic masses my entire life. My dad's side of the family, they still say the Catholic prayer in front of meals, which is great, but I don't do that myself. Here's we're on Sedgwick Street, north of North Avenue. We're heading to work here. But isn't that a beautiful church? Yeah, and Jennifer, You Should Eat, she talks about how they had to bury the holy relics during the fire. They knew the fire was coming this way, and they tried to save as much because they knew the church was in the path of the fire. And that happened to other churches too. The Holy Family on the south, well, it's kind of on the west side, near west side. The Holy Family survived because the fire did not burn that way. It blew the other way. And Father Damon lit candles. That's why Damon Avenue is named after Father Damon there in Chicago. And that's where we're at. There's the top of Sears Tower. But hey, we're heading to work here on a Friday, Cleveland and Meyer. We're down by Meyer's, just this little one block thing that goes around before North Avenue. Yeah, life is not safe. You're right. Yeah, why would we need to be saved if life was safe? But here, let's see if we can dance across North Avenue here. Looks like there's a gap in the traffic. Yeah, we'll get across here. Look at this gap. We were able to just walk right across. All about dance. Black Barrel Tavern. Yeah, let's walk over here because I forgot over by Larrabee, they're working on a park over here. So let's check out the construction progress of this park. I do like checking out new development, and especially new parks. I work with landscape architects that design parks and things like that. Hey, the Old Town Animal Care Center. They got this mural here. This is North Avenue. See those long roofs? They tore down houses they tore down all the storefronts on the north side of North Avenue when they widened North Avenue, and so then they in the 60s and 70s they replaced this housing, and Larrabee has a lot of it. A lot of things were demolished in this area during the urban renewal period, and all throughout Chicago, north of Mohawk here. In this area to this way, it's all where Cabrini Green used to be, and I'll show it to you here. There's the CTA train heading up the Kimball to Brown line there. There, Mohawk and North Avenue. Yeah, there's a fitness and there's Hammer Boxing there. Hammer Fitness and Boxing. See, they got a boxing ring and stuff there. So here, what time we got? 7:04. Matthew, how you doing there?
You know what they're doing.
Yeah, Jeffrey. Good morning. Answer Hansham. Stoney. Yeah. Thanks for helping out with the Chicago there. Yeah. Welcome to Chicago. Yeah, I don't know what else to do. I put Chicago in my name, Brian Really Chicago. I put Chicago in most of the titles. And I know it just, both TikTok and YouTube, you think it's like people never see the title. And so, you know, you just the way you stumble across. We tried to pin stuff. You know, we just need more metadata is what it is. Context. So, often I'll watch some social media thing that goes viral, and after I watch it, I'm like, I don't know where it's at. I don't know when it happened. I don't know why. What I'm looking at, the context, and then they put nothing. They'll put like a hashtag like viral FIP. And you can't even tell like where the video was taken, when it was taken. I try to, at least like a journalist here, add like a date, timestamp, when and where the footage was taken. You can see it. Most people don't even know to click on the bottom. You could expand the notes there at the bottom. Sometimes I'll do a Wikipedia article link. I don't think hardly anybody looks at that because it's the nature of social media. It's a very visual. So here, this is Larrabee and North Avenue. This housing's been here for a few decades. Hey, we got some skeletons there. There's some Halloween decorations. Yeah. But this is really what I want to check out, which is this park here. Okay. So here we're under, we'll see if the train comes by here. But yeah, there was a ball field here, and you know, there's a school over there. And this is the area where Cabrini Green was. Yeah, she's taking pictures of it too. That's why I want to. Yeah, I know they're working on this park here, and yeah, this to take shape here. So this is Larrabee and north. Larrabee, you see the Sears Tower about 3 miles north of the Sears Tower, 2.5 miles north. And look at this new construction here. I'll go online and look, see what the plan is. You can kind of see it taking shape there. They're pouring the concrete pads. Looks like there's going to be a shelter or a pavilion there. So this will be a pretty significant part. Look at the train coming by here. Look at that. There it is. They built this housing about 20 or 15 years ago. But hey, look at that. This is a pretty significant park. Oh yeah, we got a good audience here on YouTube, the Lunch Bunch. The Lunch Bunch knows I've been doing this for 2 years now on YouTube, and it took us 2 years to get up to 8,000. It's much more challenging, which I accept the challenge, to gain subscribers, followers, whatever on YouTube than TikTok. Instagram is probably the easiest. Instagram, you could easily get a 10,000 followers with just a few videos. It's amazing how fast. Seems like most people on Instagram have 100,000 followers. But not me. I got like 600 because I don't really invest any time in Instagram. No apologies. It's mainly because of my feelings for Mark Zuckerberg. Same with X. It's my feelings towards Elon Musk. Bear Construction Group. Park improvements coming soon. There it is. So hey, look there. Look at this park here. So this. Yeah, this is south and north, Larrabee. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to do like splash parks, and we'll look online to see if we can see what's in the plans there. There's the train there heading across. Yeah, I got excellent mods. I couldn't do without the mods there, T-Line, T-Time. You know that because, man, there's a lot of trolls. And, everybody deals with it. There's trolls in politics. There's trolls. There's trolls out on the street here in real life. People asking for charity. See, look at that housing that's all over by North and Clybourne there. You know, Wild Miles over there. That school's been there since Cabrini Green. I think the northernmost tower for the green portion of Cabrini Green was up here. They built this like in the 1990s. This was some of the first stuff to be built when they were still dismantling Cabrini Green. Across the street here. Yeah, I think, you know, some people, Emilio, that's a good comment there. Yeah, some people, they assume since I'm walking around that I'm like, just like taking requests, but they don't realize, and that's why I go on these long things about I'm walking to work. I know people want to see other areas. You know, I appreciate it. At first I was like, why are people giving me more work? But I should take it as a compliment because they want me to just cover areas of the city that they're interested in. And I want to cover, if I won the lottery, yeah, then I could cover this city a lot better. You know, I wouldn't have to go to a day job and be stuck to a physical location. And I know even if I work from home there, I'm still the north side, and we do that sometimes, especially in the wintertime. There, we'll head straight down to Clybourne. Yeah, thanks, Scotty. Thanks for giving me a directive to go to work. I'll take your advice. Hey, yeah, we were talking about Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman, the Dream Team, the second three-peat. Scotty was for all six, just like Michael Jordan. The old Bulls of the 90s there, Old Town. So here's another empty lot. So these empty lots are here because they used to be tall towers or mid-rise 15-story towers, housing for Cabrini Green. It was a public housing development that failed here in Chicago. And they're slowly infilling in, but, you know. And this happened on the south side, it happened on the west side, it happened here on the north side. We talk about the Henry Horner homes on the west side. You used to be able to see them from the United Center, the original Bulls Stadium. they're gone. Robert Taylor homes are gone. Stateway Gardens. But like the Marshall Field Garden Apartments are still over there. But those were never managed by the CHA. They were always privately managed. Same with the Parkway, infamous Parkway Gardens on the south side. There's 63rd and MLK, especially known as O Block. I got footage of O Block. I used to get asked to go to O Block all the time too. And when I go there, like, no one watches. And then when I post a rerun, I'm like, oh, this is definitely going to go viral. And it doesn't. But Jody GTV has a better video. He knows the drill hip hop community better, and he has a better video. So there's plenty of content about O Block. His went viral. He did a better job than I did, is what it is. Here's all of covering it. Here's Old Town. There's the mural here. We'll head right down. Clybourne here. We'll get some nice skyline views here. So we're heading towards the Central Business District of Chicago here. We got 7:13 in the a.m. We got about upper 60s. A beautiful morning. We've had beautiful weather the past several weeks here in Chicago, Illinois. So yeah, see how they're trying to brand this for real estate purposes as Old Town, but this used to be Cabrini Green area. And you see some of the storefronts. The windows are still bricked up. But hey, new Zakwa restaurant, new Zaika? How do you say that? Yeah. There's Yo Jimbo's Garage. You go to, it's not Joe's Garage, it's Yo Jimbo's Garage. But here's this mural for Old Town. I like this mural, it's very colorful. You can see it. Man, we were up on, here's a ghost bike. So the reason these ghost bikes are here, somebody died here. Some bike rider died here. Let's see if they got the memorial here. Sometimes they tell the name of the person. The red line's underneath us here. The red line's a subway north to Clybourne stations north of us. This heads down to the Clark and Division subway stop there on the red line. Oh, the bus. We missed the bus. Yeah, breathing exercises. That's why walking helps me breathe. Hey, happy Friday, Pablo. How you doing there? Thanks everybody for tuning in. Welcome to my morning commute here, walking to work on a Friday. Hey, congratulations to the Cubbies. They beat the Padres there. We were up there last night. I tried to cover it the best I could, but I think Steve Lyon was up there. Was anybody watching Steve Lyon? I think he might have went inside the game. Here's Mohawk and Clybourne. But I'm not for sure. I didn't see him up there. See, subway. Subway, keep clear. That's an entrance to the subway, but you got to have the special key there. There's Unity Manufacturing. Yeah, so they added this. I don't even remember when they built this, but probably in the after 2000. That's been there for a while. You see this Clybourne corridor used to be more heavily industrial. There's Schick, Clybourne. But they got these bike lanes to protect the bike lanes. Not all the streets have these bump outs like that. But Wells Street is used much more for bike traffic than Clybourne. But that might change if they build more housing up this way, which is why I'm walking down through here. Here, let's cross the street here. That's the view of the One Chicago Tower. Usually, sometimes we walk by that. That's at Superior State Street near the Holy Name Cathedral. There, we'll get a view of the John Hancock over there. Oh, your grandma there. There you go, Jeffrey. You love your grandma. That's great. Go Cubs, yeah. Naya's tuning in. Naya Papaya. Yeah, the Brewers are going to be really tough. The Brewers, I know. Be careful what you wish for. Well, every game we play from now on becomes more important. And that's the whole playoffs there. We got our division rivals there, the Milwaukee Brewers. So we'll see how they fare in the playoffs. And they've been resting up. The Cubs are well practiced here. Here's Tabak Restaurant Pakistani. Yeah, I don't know what that honk was about. Maybe they were honking. But hey, They improved their sign greatly. See, that's some of that new housing there on Wells Street. There's the Joel Osco over here. It's Clybourne and Division. Yeah, I usually walk about 5 kilometers, 3.5 miles to get to work. And that's one way. They do it in the morning, I do that at night. Usually we walk about 3 miles or 2 to 3 miles at lunchtime through the loop there. So it ends up being about 10 miles a day or 15 kilometers. That's how much I walk. So now you see why, people I know people request to go here and there, and I appreciate that. I try to remember it. If I'm in those areas, I'll be like, hey, look, I'm here, but I don't often get to. There's many areas of the city, even on the north side, I rarely go. We went to Devon Avenue 2 years ago. I still need to go back up there. It's such a great strip, but it's just not easily accessible for transit for me. So here, so there's that Seward Park clock there. They added that. That's a nice park there. There's a community center. So this is Division Street. We'll cross here. Yeah, this was the center of Cabrini Green when I moved here in 1999, and then they dismantled many of the tall towers, these big empty lots on the other side of that Target. But they have infilled a lot of this, and they're infilling more, and that's what we're showing here. Here, let's check out this mural here. Scottie Pippen. Yeah, there was a lot of displacement. That's why it's good you bring that up in the comments. There was a lot of displacement. I think at its peak, over 20,000 people lived in the Cabrini Green housing here. I'm sure probably tens of thousands of people, if not more, 50,000 lived in Robert Taylor, Stateway Gardens, Henry Horner homes. These were huge, massive, multi-building public housing projects, some of the largest public housing projects outside of New York City, which has the largest public housing developments in all the 5 boroughs there. But LA has some, but not like Chicago. Chicago, New York had these urban, multi-story. Even St. Louis had it with Pruitt-Igoe. The warehousing of the poor, and they became racially stereotyped and gang infested, and it was hard, and lessons learned, failures of the Great Society, failures of us to solve the housing. Housing is still a major issue for all cities, including this city, and everybody complains about inflation, including me. Housing is the biggest driver of inflation for most people. The biggest expense all of us have is not longer a car, which is expensive enough. It's housing, and it's always been that way, but it's getting worse. Elm and Hudson, people bend the signs. They bend the signs because they don't want the emergency response people to be able to read the signs, even though they most use GPS now. It's like it goes back to controlling blocks and things like that. You see all over the city, people bend the street signs. Yeah, it's like the shoe hanging from the overhead electric wire. Usually symbolizes some illicit market. But hey, I'm all for that. Here's Thursday. So I guess they had the street swim Friday on that side. So today, be careful if you're on Elm Street here in Cleveland. It looks like they're doing street sweeping. They might tow your car. That's why someone brought up, and I agree with them. They said one of the biggest, stupidest, dumbest mistakes Chicago made in the past 25 years was Mayor Daley II selling our parking meters. And we lament that forever because they've already made back their money, and now for the next 60 years, money's going to be sucked out of the city, and the only way you can avoid it is by not having a car and never paying a parking meter. Here's and your car, and the city still enforces the parking laws because they make money off of it too, giving you a ticket, but then it forces people to pay the parking meters. Here's so this is the Wayman Church we talk about all the time. Dr. Martin Luther King gave a speech here in 1967 around when he was living on the west side. They're redeveloping it into 7 residential units. This was here the entire time Cabrini Green was here, and it was here before Cabrini Green when this was a different neighborhood. And he was a Swedish Baptist church, then it became an AME, African Methodist Episcopal Church. See how they bricked up the main entrance. But At least they're somehow salvaging the facade. Should be on this National Historic Register, in my opinion. Here's the new development here. This is on Cleveland Street, the same street we were on in Lincoln Park, but we're now closer to the Central Business District, and we're across from the Jenner Academy for the Arts. It's a school. I'll show it to you here. There it is, Jenner Academy for the Arts. This is Jenner Academy for the Arts is kind of like the Franklin School, which is both of them are elementary schools. Here's the new development here, and again, this used to be. This is that's the last housing of Cabrini Greens down there. We walked through there. We got re-rented, all that as well. We're over by the Montgomery wards here. It's an Amsterdam style building, yeah. Oh, that church, the Wayman Church, yeah. Yeah, it looks like European revival style there, yeah. Yeah, it was Margie. It was nice to see the Cubs win. They made it nerve-wracking. I'll tell you what. And I forgot. Okay, so worst case scenario. So I was out there at Gallagher Way with the people outside the stadium watching it on the big screen there. And we could hear the roar of the crowd, and everybody was very nervous because we're Cubs fans. We're at the bottom of the top of the ninth. Milwaukee had two people on, and it was errors. The pitcher hit two batters in a row, and then they got to second and third, and so there's your tying run was on second. The go-ahead run was at the plate. Worst case scenario, he hits a 3-run home run, which it looks like it. When he hit that ball that was caught in the outfield that ended the game, the whole crowd gasped because coming off the bat, it looked like a 3-run home run ball. And I'm sure the pitcher about fainted when he saw that coming over his head. But then everybody was so relieved when the outfielder could just easily catch it in the game. But worst case scenario, the Milwaukee would have went up 4-3. The Cubs still would have had a chance, but it would have been very nerve-wracking to watch. You know, it would have just totally changed the momentum of the game. So Cubs were very happy to escape that ninth inning and close out the series to advance. So here we got the skyline of Chicago. You can see how much land was freed up. They have a ball field here. We've seen people play organized baseball here. This is some of the infill, and then there's some of the last remaining of the Marshall or the Francis Xavier Cabrini portion of the Cabrini Green public housing. Hey, Chris, how you doing there, East Lansing? 49ers. Yeah. Good vibes. Yeah, you saw that. Yeah, we're going to Milwaukee. Yeah, you're right. Milwaukee, I think the game on Saturday is 1 o'clock. The first game of the Milwaukee-Chicago Cubs series there, Milwaukee Brewers. There'll be 4 games, MLB playoff games there on Saturday. So, okay, the Yankees beat the Red Sox. That's amazing because the Red Sox took the first game. Yankees won the second, too. That rarely happens. And maybe it's because they had home field advantage. Detroit defeated the Cleveland Guardians. Hey, look at the dogs, yeah. It's awesome. They can roam around. That's great. Let them. They got these big blocks. That's what people do. They gather there. We'll walk over there. It's always, I got to kind of keep a distance because then the dogs come over and then some dogs start barking at me. Other dogs want to jump on me. Their owners are like, get away from that guy. He's got a camera. There's the John Hancock. Look, there's your sunrise. Sun's already risen over the lake. We saw it yesterday. We could have did it today, but I'm just mixing it up here, taking a different route to work. There's the Sears Tower. Look at that. It's kind of hidden by the towers here on Wolf Point, but hey, we'll head towards the 4-lane street here. Cubs in 4. Hey, people are making predictions there. Yeah, that would be nice. Chippy chop top shop. Barbara, how you doing there? Good morning. Yeah, thanks for tuning in there. You're hooked on baseball. Hey, we're going to turn Nelios into a Cubs fan, and that's a curse because, you know, for years, Cubs were the lovable losers. And they finally won that World Series in 2016, got that monkey off our back. White Sox won World Series in 2005, I remember that. Now the White Sox are the lovable losers and Cubs are in the playoffs. Here, look at that. There's the John Hancock. That's kind of like the Oak Street area. Hey, they built this housing. You see where this building is? There used to be a Spanish Revival church there, and when Cabrini Green was here, you could see it from the elevated train tracks. I remember seeing they tore it down, and it wasn't. How you doing there? Hey, good morning. Yeah, that's fine. How you doing? That's good. How you doing? Hey, that's good. That's fine. I'm just heading over this way. How you doing there? Yeah, good morning. Beautiful dogs. Yeah, thank you. That's great. How you doing there? Yeah. Yeah, I tell you, there's all the nice people here. They, you know, people come out here and they use this as a park. I remember one time we walked through here, and they were having a birthday for one of the dogs. The dog was wearing a party hat. That was fun. You got the Commanders on Friday the 13th. Oh, yeah. See, it's October there. You get the scary Friday the 13th on October spooky month there, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. But here, when we go over to Orleans, we might be able to see the train with the city in the background. That's why I like walking this way sometimes, at least once a week, maybe. There's the one Chicago Tower there. Hey, we got a Dodgers fan there, yeah. Yeah, I want the Dodgers to, well, they play the Phillies, right? Dodgers play the Phillies. That's going to be a tough series as well. I wouldn't mind the Cubs playing the Dodgers. That would be a nice two big city markets there. But Philadelphia is fine too. I just want the Cubs to beat Milwaukee here. There's the Brown line heading through. But yeah, there used to be a Spanish Revival church with a Spanish tile roof and like a tower, and they tore it down to build this, and it just there wasn't a way to adaptively reuse it. The Wayman Church, the same thing, you know, which I'm glad they were able to adaptively reuse it. That's why it sat vacant for so long. Here's here's the train heading across here. It's the Brown line heading up Kimball there. Detective John Kimball. Look at the John Hancock there. Yeah, so we got the Sears Tower, got the John Hancock. We'll head down Orleans Street. Kyle Schwarber. There you go. There you go, Robert. Yeah, I hear what you're saying there. So we'll see how it plays out. They got to play the games. Yankees versus the Cubs. There you go. That could happen. Another two big New York and Chicago. The MLB would love that. Two big city markets there in the World Series. Here, so it begins. Rod Blagojevich. They're going to have a documentary about him. Chicago Stories. What is it? Is he running the show now? Is he becoming a TV announcer? That's the former disgraced mayor or governor of Illinois. Rod Blagojevich. Blago. Yeah, I remember when he went to jail and when his trial was going on, there was here's the mural to Ken Flores. Ken Flores, he passed away way too young. He was a comedian, Ken Flores. I thought they had a picture to him. They must have took it off. We got a rerun of it, so they had a nice portrait of him, but maybe they changed it there. Hey, there's a view to the John Hancock. We usually walk by it on Michigan Avenue. We walked by it last night. Over here. Craft beers. SpongeBob popsicle. Orleans Nails and Spas. So, yeah, you can call this the Willis Tower. I still call it the Sears. I don't really know what it's called. I thought Willis lost their naming rights, but maybe they still got their naming rights. Maybe they renegotiated and they just gave them the naming rights for free. I don't know. But Willis is an insurance company. They got bought out by Aon. I'll have to look online if they still have the brand name Willis or not. I don't even know. Does anybody else know anything about Willis? I know Sears is the name of the company that built it. Most Chicagoans, including me, call it the Sears Tower. So historically, that's what it was called. But hey, here's some, man, look at that nice script there. Gets these nice murals here. But Mr. Beef's down this way. They use that for the bear show. Italian beef joint. People ask the most interesting questions. No, I'm not a vampire, but if I was, it'd be more Machiavellian of me not to let you know that, right? Interview with a vampire, yeah. Here's, I generally try not to drink blood, but I guess you can. You can get nutritional value out of it. You could drink urine too, but I wouldn't recommend it. Here's 3.69 with $3.69. That's not too bad. That's much cheaper than other places. That's the Shell Circle K here at Chicago and Orleans. I know where you're at. I'm sure your gas is much cheaper wherever you're at. I'm just joking from a Chicago perspective. I don't buy gas. I don't, unless I take an Uber through indirectly. But there's the Shell there, and yeah, let's cross the street here. We're at Orleans and Chicago Avenue. So let's head down Chicago Avenue a little bit here. Chilly Willie's. I remember Chilly Willie, the penguin there, that cartoon. Yeah, I forgot about that. What are you talking about, Willis? Here's the Purple Line. There's the Purple Line heading north there. Coming out of the Chicago station. Brown and Purple Line stop here. Chicago Avenue. We're heading towards Franklin Street. We can walk under the L tracks a little bit. Interesting city view. Hey, look at that. There's the Brown Line heading into the Chicago stop here. There's the old station, there's the new part. I just saw that comment. Who's your daddy? What does he do? Detective John Kimball. I'm Detective John Kimball. Anybody remember the soundboards? Yeah, here the train's pulling out of the station here. It's loud. It's about to get loud. So here, this is underneath Franklin Street here, Chicago. River North. We're heading to work here. Yeah, there's some script over there. I'm like how they rappel down the side and get that there. And I like getting this view here under the tracks here. So here we'll head around here. I want to freak people out. Here's yeah, see how they got all the furniture. A lot of vendors north of the Merchandise Mart. They have their showroom floors here, a lot of artwork. Carousel Fine Art. So this is actually a fine art gallery. Look, you get the, yeah, you get the gorilla there from Las Vegas. So we're Superior and Franklin. Yeah, let's head over this way. Let's head over towards the One Chicago Tower to see what it looks like. Hey, Brett's Kitchen, breakfast and lunch. Sidewalk closed. Oh, I picked the wrong side. I didn't realize until I got here, but we can easily across this street. It's one way. Alvin's tuning in. Robert. Thanks everybody there. Oops. There, we'll cross right behind this guy. What am I doing here? There's Superior Street. We're looking east towards the lake. Yeah, modern living. Gruen galleries. There's art galleries, furniture places here. Yeah, they tore down this corner building. There's some new construction going on here. This is River North area here. We're almost to Wells and Superior. We'll head down Wells for a little bit. So now I think we're reaching the part where the comments are not working as well as I want to, but I should be able to see some later here. And we'll walk down to the river walk here. Hey, the Brayhan Pub, there's a nice bike lane here, well used here. Got us in the... Right. Let's see if we can dance across here. Hey, Wells Street, looking south. And you can look over to the one Chicago tower there. That's all residential, that tall tower there. Well, yeah, I'll look in to see what they're building on this corner here. They tore down a corner building. I'm always sad when they tear down a old historic storefront there. Hey, River North. Gotta go to work, what a bummer. Hey, we got almost 200 people tuning in. It's pretty good for YouTube. Thanks again to everybody tuning in last night. And we got some footage of Wrigleyville there. Cubs fans celebrating there. What else did we see? We saw the skeletons on State Street. Saw the sunrise there. You can watch all those reruns. Many people are asking me why I'm streaming on YouTube now and not TikTok. But when I tell them why, when I tell them they kicked me out of the Creator Fund, they canceled all my subscriptions. People subscribe to me. So that solved that problem. I told people to cancel their subscriptions when I was on TikTok, when I was moving to YouTube anyway. Make sure if you subscribe to me, don't let TikTok keep charging you for my subscriptions, because it's not getting to me. And sometimes they do that. When they deleted my original account at 38,000, some people that subscribed to me on that account, TikTok was still charging me even though they deleted my account. Why were they charging them for an account they subscribed to that they deleted and you couldn't even access? And it's just because one side of the company didn't know what the other side of the company was doing, because it's all automated. It's all run by robots. They probably got 5 people now that work for TikTok, and the rest is AI, chat box running everything. There's certainly not a helpline. There's no one to talk to if you got questions. And isn't it amazing? The richest, most valuable social media companies spend as little as they possibly can on customer service, because they don't have to, because they know we're all like me. They pissed me off. They deleted my original account. I asked them why. They didn't tell me. So I just started a new account, built it 3 times larger, and they'll probably cancel that, and then I'll start another one. It's just eyes on the screen. They've canceled people that had millions of followers. So people lament about government censorship. What about corporate censorship? Corporations have more power over our First Amendment free speech rights, or the lack thereof, than the government does. Through, the terms and conditions of YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram. We have no First Amendment free speech rights on any of this platform. It's corporatized, monetized speech. They ban certain keywords. I search for stuff all the time, and I can't search for it because it's like it's akin to something. Try to type in prescription drugs, see what you get. You're not going to get a discount. Here's Erie. Erie and LaSalle. Fogo de Chao. There's River North here. People racing to get to work here. 369 at the BP here, River North. There's a nice view to the Gleaming Towers of Michigan Avenue there. A few blocks east of us. How you doing there? So I'm able to see some of the comments at the bottom there. Deborah, RGR there. Yeah. Oh, you like the Fogo de Chao there, the Brazilian meats there? Yeah. What's this? There's some stuff going into Target. Oh, that's the racks. That's the racks they use. Okay. So here we're at Ontario and LaSalle Street here. We'll show you the old sports goods building that is no more, but they still have the handprints. And it's interesting, if this building use changes, hopefully they'll keep this stuff. But here, thank you, Rhino here. Ryan Sandberg, of course, Ryan Sandberg recently passed away. Here's Ryan Sandberg's handprints. This used to be a sports authority or some sports goods store. There's Walter Payton, Harry Carey, Jim McMahon, Ryan Sandberg. If you go down this way, there's a lot of hands. And then Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub himself there. I bet he's happy with the Cubs. Sid Luckman, great football player there for the Bears. And Bobby Hall, Hockey Hall of Famer there for the Blackhawks. And Ray Meyer. And broke the color barrier for Chicago with the White Sox there. Minnie Minosa, waiting for the loud noise pollution in there. But here's the Gleaming Towers of River North here. Heading to work here on a Friday. Here's Ohio House. Hey, if you're looking for a motel where you can park your car off the Kennedy, you go to the Ohio House. They got the Schneider Deli, which is open, it was closed for a long time. See how they got balconies, they got parking here, but they got this nice Schneider Deli there, breakfast and lunch. Ohio House Motel here. Yeah, how you doing here? Yeah, there it is. Head across the street here. Look at that view. You get to the Gleaming Towers. Go ahead. We get a view to the Gleaming Towers there. It's very dicey because these cars come off the highway and they're very aggressive because they've been driving in bumper to bumper traffic and they want to make that left turn. They're not expecting a human being to be crossing the street there. But here, there's the One Chicago Tower, the John Hancock. We'll head over here, the Best Western. This used to be the Rock and Roll McDonald's. Now it's the Green McDonald's. At least that's what I call it. Yeah, looks good there. Valley's 2 blocks, free parking in Valet, so you can park for free. You just got to get your parking ticket validated at the casino. There you go. It's the Trump Tower behind it there. Hey, here's the triple. They got a triple drive-through. No, they got a double drive-through. They got 2 lanes drive-through for this McDonald's. I think the prices are higher at this McDonald's for some reason. Because they can. It was that way when it was the Rock and Roll McDonald's. There's the One Chicago Tower. We'll cross here at Ohio Street. This is Clark Street. We made it to Clark Street. There's the Rainforest Cafe where it used to be. It's closed. So you can get your trophy retail. They call it trophy retail. What's trophy retail? It's like a trophy wife. Is that sexist to treat real estate like a trophy wife, trophy retail property? Put it in your award case there. Hey, here's Blue Chicago. This is a Blues Joint, Sweet Home Blue Chicago. It's on Clark Street, of course. We saw Buddy Guy. You go to Buddy Guy's Legends there on the South Loop there at Balboa and Wabash. We saw Buddy Guy. Ernie was there with us, and Grim Evil, we saw him at Navy Pier earlier September. Hey, Fado's Irish Pub here. So here, this is Clark Street. Yeah, we'll just head down Clark Street here. We'll go past the restaurants. We'll head down to the river there. 747. Hey, we got the light here. River North. Right now. We got trouble right here in River City. And that starts with P. Or T starts with... Trouble starts with T, it rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. There, Mangiano's Little Italy. So here's Mendo River North. A lot of times we walk through here in the evenings. These places will be, you're sitting full. Probably be sitting full tonight if we head back through here. So we'll see. This is what it looks in the morning here. Here, Mendocino Farms there. Happy Fire Friday here, Illinois. And Clark Street. Here's the Hyatt Place Hotel here. Yeah, we'll cross over this way. So we can go by Frontera Grill there. We say hello to Rick Bayless. This is Clark Street. See how they take a lane and use it for seating, which kind of makes easier to walk down the sidewalks, which I appreciate that. We will cross here. Clark Street in Illinois is Illinois Street. There's Chef Special, Tortoise. So this is a Rick Bayless place. It's the tequila bar, and then here's the Frontera Grill here. And Rick Bayless, you might have seen him on PBS there. He's had this restaurant for years here in Chicago. He's based out of Chicago. Celebrity chef. Has his own line of products there. There, Frontera, I'm sure you've seen that. And salsa sitting at your grocery there. This is the Cafe Barbariba tapas, Spanish tapas place. You get the sangria at Bub City. You hang out here. It's Clark Street, River North, Chicago. I'm heading to work here. Yeah, the Cincinnati Bengals were worried, you know, but it depends on Joe Burrow. I guess how's their backup quarterback doing? Joe Burrow's out for a couple of months, right? That's a tough break for the Bengals, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. I know the River North, it looks like Cincinnati Bengals for some reason. I don't know why. Here, they're working on the street here. There's the old courthouse where they had the Leopold Loeb trial right there. There was an earlier courthouse where they had the Haymarket. There's the Boss Bar, the Bodega Havana. We'll head down Clark Street here. Yeah, thanks for sharing. There, Planta Queen. Yeah, they got some nice decor here. They got the dragon. I thought, yeah, the skateboard's over there. I keep hearing the skateboard, but it's on the other side of the street there. Hey, the Bodega. There's the Smith. Pretty popular place there. Happy hour. Over here, we're here early in the morning. We got 7:50 in the AM here. So hey, after the big Cubs win there, let's go by Harry Carey's here. We'll walk down Kenzie Street and we'll go by Harry Carey's restaurant here in River North here. The Dutch Revival. Looks like New Amsterdam. And that's where they blew up the Bartman ball. They blew it up. Good morning, how you doing there, Grim Evil? Thanks for tuning in there. Who else is tuning in? You don't know where that is? Yeah, DGIF. Happy Friday. Yeah. Hey, trucks come out, loading docks. $17 to park. In between 4, you got to be out by 7 though. $17, that's not too bad. You got to. This entrance is closed. I don't know why. There, Piazza Produce, delivering the goods there. There's Harry Carey's. There is the back of the Trump Tower, the old IBM building, which is now the American Medical Association. You get a nice view to the Marina Towers here from this corner. There's a nice Dutch bike. Yeah, there it is. So there's Harry Carey's in Chicago. We're celebrating the Cubs' victory over San Diego Padres, and there's the Marina Towers. They're the Corn Cob buildings. We'll head, we'll go by the House of Blues here. Yeah, let's head over there. So you can see to the backside of the Wrigley building. We're seeing it from west looking east. Usually we see it from Michigan Avenue. But this is Dearborn Street looking north in Chicago, River North. We got Residence Inn here. Kinsey Hotel, a lot of hotels in this area. And there's Harry Carey's. And they got two-way bike lane starting here. Turns one way this way. And we'll go see Harry Carey's here. Hey, hey! Get your steak. Cubs win, Cubs win. Ha ha! Yeah, Harry Carey's here. Let's head up to the House of Blues. Can't imagine that. Use your imagination. So Clark Street, we're heading towards Chicago River. Yeah, this Bar Louie's closed. Bars and restaurants. It's feast or famine. Here's the Westin, the Quaker Oats building. House of Blues. Hey, they're pulling the hose. So we better walk across Dearborn. The State Street Bridge is closed, so sometimes I would walk over to State Street, but we can't cross the State Street. They're working on that bridge. They're going to work on the Lake Street Bridge. They got partially shut down the pedestrian traffic. They're going to close it down full time here pretty soon for the next several years. A lot of bridges are under construction in the Chicago area here. Oh, Stallone's got a new Tulsa. He's carrying a bat. Hey, they're working on the House of Blues sign here. Look at that. Yeah, very nice. Look at that, the Marina Towers. Very nice. Sign and lighting here. Yeah, look at that. He's working on the sign. Doing it the right way. They got a spotter. Very good. Hey, Legal Seafoods. New England. So, hey, we made it to the Chicago River. Dearborn Street. There's the Chicago's first movable bridge was constructed at this site in 1834. Look at that. Look how the river wasn't as wide then. 60-foot opening. It was only a 60-foot opening, and it shows you how much they dredged this river and widened this river, and it's pretty much a canal now that they reverse the flow and it flows that way. But big ships could come through this thing, and it used to dry up in the summertime. Here's the crossing the Chicago River here at Dearborn Street. See, they're working on the State Street. Here's the bottom of the Marina Towers here where you can pull your boat in. That's why it's called the Marina Towers there. They're working, yeah, the State Street Bridge. That's what that barge is there. This is looking towards the lake this way, Chicago River, Wacker Drive. That's looking west towards Wolf Point. Merchandise Mart's down that way. This is the whole loop of Chicago here. You got advertising. That's R.R. Donnelly, Leo Burnett building. Oops. My gimbal's all over the place here. Yeah, my gimbal's giving out here, so I must not have got an adequate charge into the gimbal here. It's losing its juice there. Hold on a second here. I'll get it snapped in here. The whole world went sideways there. There, we can head down to the Riverwalk for a second here. That's what I was trying to do. I was just trying to zoom up like that, and I lost my gimbal here. Well, we'll stay up here. I'm tired of going up and down steps. We've gone down. I think my leg's doing better. So I'll look. Is there anything going on this weekend that, like cultural festivals or music festivals or something I should know about? I know the marathon's next weekend. I'll look online and see what's happening. See if we want to do anything this weekend. Yeah, we're the big bad city here. That's why Chicago's vast, Like I said, we got 77 neighborhoods. We have over 100 suburbs. And some of the suburbs have tens of thousands of people and cover large areas as well. Hundreds of thousands of people. Yep, Lincoln Park, that's where we started. There's the Chicago Theater, State Street, so we were there yesterday. We saw those skeletons on State. So yeah, they're working on the State Street Bridge here, adjacent to the Marina Towers here. They got big gaps in the holes in the bridge deck. They're welding stuff. This is State Street looking south into Chicago. The Chicago Theater, and there's the Clark and Lake Station. So Queens of the Stone Age played there last night. That's why I posted that freaky psychedelic thing. I just liked how that made that look. I saw Queens of the Stone Age many times, like 20 years ago. But hey, look at that nice skyline view there. There's the Jewelers Building. Look at this. Look at that. They built that in the mid 1920s. Transformers movie, they destroyed it. Beautiful lobby. Helman Jan. I think Jan Associates still has the cupola at the top. It used to be the Stratosphere Club. There's where the Vietnam War Memorial is, down there. Yeah, spectacular buildings. Thanks for checking it out there. Lip and Land, there you go. Ryan, thanks for tuning in there. Tara, yeah, thanks Tara, thanks for being on there. Thanks for dealing with my spotty coverage last night. I should have known when I was filming the Jumbotron there that they were going to get me for rebroadcasting a live broadcast. I just need to move around more. Like I could film it like for like less than a minute, and then I have to like make sure I film something else and then come back to it. I'll figure it out. But here, let's cross here. Get this nice view to the, of course, this truck's gonna cross. It's always a car waiting to run you over, or truck. There we go. So here, there's the Wrigley and the Tribune Tower there. Yeah, let's just, hey, we got the light there. So there's the CTA train there around the bend there, heading down the canyon of Wabash. Part of the loop there. Yeah, there's the Jewelers Building. We'll cross in Wacker Drive, 17 Church of Christ Scientists. But hey, I'm gonna head to work there. We'll be on at lunchtime there. We'll see what's happening in the loop, and then we'll walk home tonight, and we'll ease into the weekend. So, hey, that was nice being able to just take a bike ride. Thanks again to the Divvy representative there that helped me out to get the bike parked. That was a easy way to get up to Lakeview there from work. So we might utilize that more. Hopefully there'll be more playoff games next week to go up there after work. Yeah, Cubs live on. Hey, they're working on the Tim Hortons Steakhouse is at the bottom here, but they're working on the side there. Look, they got scaffolding up here. This is the Hampton Inn. Used to be the Chicago Automobile Association. Got a beautiful lobby. Here it is. Hey, I'm gonna head to work here, Carbide and Carbon Building. You can see the top of it reflected there, the gold. Christopher, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, check out Christopher Dotson there. He's a prolific live streamer in New York there on YouTube. Look, there's the Mather Tower. And yeah, we caught the Cubs. I didn't go in the game there. Steve Lyon might have went there. We went up to, and congratulations to the Yankees. Christopher, I don't know if you're a Yankees or a Mets fan. I guess the Yankees beat the Red Sox. I was talking to some of my Michigan friends and mods, and Detroit beat Cleveland, so Tigers fans are happy. Dodgers fans are happy. So we'll see what happens with Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and the other American League teams that were waiting the outcome of these wild card series. But hey, I'm gonna head to work here. Look at that beautiful view. You get to the Wrigley Building, John Hancock, the Tribune, Intercontinental Hotel, looking at Michigan Avenue. We're at Water Street here. That's where we caught the trumpetist playing right there. I posted that here. We're right across Michigan Avenue here. Hey, I'm gonna head to work here at Carbide and Carbon Building. Get some breakfast. Hope you have a good Friday there. We'll see you at lunchtime. And thanks everybody for your attention. Thanks mods. And we'll post some more. I should have some more footage to post. We always got more footage to post there. The show that never ends. Let's see. It might be. I doubt it. Fox News used to do a Bears game day pre-show on Fridays, but they haven't been doing it this year. I thought they did it one year. Let's see. I'll stick on just in case they're doing something out here. No, that doesn't look like any. Well, let's see. They got some bales of hay. Maybe they're just installing some. Yeah, they're installing some Halloween stuff. So we got some bales of hay here. I'll talk to you like. I think they're just. Yeah, they're changing. I think they're changing the planting. They're adding the fall planting. Is that the fall? Is that the fall planting going in? Is that the fall? Yeah. Good. They're adding the hay bales. Yeah, I won't film you. I'm going. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Appreciate it. It's good. Yeah, they're changing it out. So hey, have a good day there. I'm gonna head to work there. We'll see you at lunchtime. Okay. Thanks everybody. Thanks Naya, Papaya, everybody else. We'll talk to you later. Have a good day. If I missed anybody, message me on a rerun there and I'll try to get back to you. Okay, bye.